Wednesday Bashers. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is iBashers Wednesday edition. My name is Dirk. I am your host. It is your show. I just host it. Let's see who's in the room. Let's start out fresh. Franco Fiore e numero uno. El primo tempo, eh? First, don't forget to upvote this great show. Thank you, Franco Fiore. And I'm gonna, as a tribute to you, I'm gonna do the Basher of the Day song for you in Italian because you deserve it. How about that? All this time, I'm just assuming Franco Fiore lives in Italy, and you know what? I don't know. Do I have your email address? Let's see. I do. Let's see. I do indeed. Great. He's got his 1675. I can tell that from all the wonderful pictures that he sent me, highlighting all the bashers of every time I go to look at somebody's basher Gallery of Bastards pictures, I have to remark. Every time I go back to the gallery, I have to go and remark them. Congratulations to you, Franco Fiore, for being first time ever in the Basher of the Day. But I'll figure it out, and I'll do it in Italian after the show and send it to you. Dean got his this morning, acquiesced by Dave Fahrenheit 451, because I guess he's just what is he? The benevolent leader. He just he's such a bastard. I mean, holy crap, you guys giving up your top slot for the next guy. That's what the bashers are all about. Amazing. Ray Ray's proud number 2 with the little cute little emoji thing. Headphones, green, very cute. Dean is here. Franco Fiore, you beat me to the post. I was after another one of Dirk's tunes, but this time, damn it, I want it in FLAC. For those of you who don't know what FLAC is, it's free lossless audio codec. It's being a purist, and I don't even know what to think anymore. That's like the codec for digital that's lossless. It means it has no compression, but it has to have some kind of compression, right? I'm not quite sure. The way we listen to music nowadays is digital. We listen to it on YouTube, we listen to it on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever your particular vendor is for music, for listening to music. Most people listen to it for free, I guess, because music is not something that people buy that much these days, which is kind of sad. It's nice to see the big major labels go down the tubes, but I wonder, there's so many different variables for that. And coming from a guy who's made a couple of records and always wished that they would be successful and sell well, and grant them a career. Now independent artists, it's like two different routes you could look at it. Like, holy shit, you don't have the big production machine that like a major label. Let's say you guys put out, and this is just me talking in to the lay people who don't have a clue. A lot of you do know exactly how it works, and some of you don't. But like when you're emerging, and I'll tell you something that somebody asked me in a store yesterday. Here's I'll start with that. A guy said to me, he goes, "Well, you're a musician, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Who are the new rock bands? Like, who's the emerging new rock bands?" And I said, "Rock is dead." And he said, "What do you mean rock is dead?" And I went, "Well, it's dead." And I think he's from, I want to say, India, one of the southern Asian countries, be it, I don't know if it's Pakistan. Forgive me, I'm not quite sure because we've never had that detailed a conversation to know exactly where he's from. But let's just say he's maybe Punjab or something like that, because he definitely seems like some kind of Indian fella, very nice guy. And he was asking me about rock, and I said, well, he goes, "What about Metallica and U2?" And I said, "Well, they've been around for 30, 40 years. And then he's like, "Well, there's got to be an emerging band. There's got to be somebody who's on the way up." And I was completely flummoxed. I mean, there's a slew of independent artists out there right now that are making music and making it available for free on YouTube. And they do what like guys like I do and Asheen does and all the other YouTubers do, whereas they make their content available. People can become members or Patreons to support the artist, which is a great new frontier. It's a great new self-sufficient way to get your art, get your channel, get your music, get your films, whatever it is that you do from an artistic standpoint. You're in control of it entirely. Whereas back in the day, you would play a bunch of gigs and hope somebody comes down, or you'd know somebody who knew somebody, and they would send down what's known as an artist and repertoire guy, which is A&R. Now, A&R is famous because those are the people that sign artists. Those are the people that from Capitol or Atlantic or Parlophone or Decca or one of the, Warner Brothers, one of the big monster labels that we used to have. They still exist to some extent, but they have a lot less power. But they had all the power at that time, and you would be an artist and you would sign a deal. Say they liked you very much. A couple of things could happen. Let's go into a little bit of detail. So let's say you're the hottest band in Cleveland. Shout out to who. Say you're the hottest band in Cleveland, and then all the labels catch wind of it. Maybe your local radio station is spinning your unsigned, unreleased song because you're local heroes and they want to get the word out there. All of a sudden, Warner Brothers, Atlantic, Interscope, whatever record labels start to converge on Cleveland to come see your band live. That is if you are a live entity. Nowadays, not so much. A lot of people just make tapes and things and try to get signed that way, and then they'll put together a live ensemble later on, which was true back then too, but mostly you'd have to slog it out in the clubs and bars and try to get your sound out there. So what they would do back in the day is, and this is historically throughout time from the beginning of rock and roll and pop music, you would get signed. So let's just say you sign with one of those labels. Now, if there's a bunch of labels coming after you, you get into what's known as a bidding war. Now, a bidding war means that your price goes up. It's like a Rolex. What are you guys all wearing today? I'm wearing my Snoopy Weekender, courtesy of Melly C, a watch I love to wear. And I hate to say it gets a lot more wrist time than Charlie Brown because I just love Snoopy so much. But so let's just say you get signed to one of those labels. Let's say only one label wants you. Well, you're going to offer you a deal, and you're going to talk with your band members. If you have a manager, which you probably do, and it's probably a friend, and they're not a real, maybe they'll become a real manager. There's a couple of bands that started out with a friend who managed them, and kind of like on the show Entourage on HBO, they have a friend who managed the actor, and then he became a big manager. That can happen. It happened with Rush. It happened with Kiss. It happened with a lot of bands. Peter Grant from Led Zeppelin, he managed one band and then became a monster. But oftentimes what happens is you don't have a manager, or you have a local guy, and then you'll leave that manager for somebody who's more successful and has more juice. That's the term we used to use. We need a manager with more juice. My band had a manager who was a friend growing up named Bill Plotkin, and he was an incredible friend, an incredible fan. And then we wound up never getting into a bidding war. We wound up getting like the exact opposite. Everybody wanted to sign us, but nobody would. And it got to the point where after we played in the clubs for a really long time and had a following and didn't get a record label, labels were looking at us like there must be something wrong with us. So we figured, after a couple of years of this wonderful, wonderful person who's no longer on this earth, we thought it was time to replace him, and we did. And in hindsight, that was a very big mistake. We did wind up working with a manager who had a lot more experience, a guy who worked with Bon Jovi, worked within the Doc McGee organization. And we thought, well, that, our future is sealed, and it didn't really help. He's a good guy, however, and a friend, and it just didn't make any bit of a difference really at the end of the day. The guy that really absolutely loved us and believed in us, we kind of let him down. And these are the casualties of war when you're an artist. because you're looking for out for number one and you get frustrated when things don't happen. So back to Cleveland, say you get signed. Say there is a bidding war and 3 or 4 labels want you. Your price goes up. You're all of a sudden you're a Tiffany Blue Oyster Perpetual. Everybody wants to pay top dollar for you. So they do pay top dollar for you. And when that happens, that's money that you generally get to keep. And there's not a lot of money that you get to keep once you get a record deal. What happens is the monies that they spend on you becomes recoupable money, meaning the cost for your producer, the cost for your studio, the cost for printing anything, every single friggin' thing that you do that the label spends on you, they want that money back before they start paying you for your record sales. And a lot of bands wind up going into severe debt for years unless they have that one big record. And then they can pay it all back, and then they start to get the money. It's very complicated. So nowadays, there are bands out there that nobody pays big dollars for records. The average budget for recording an album when Hitman was doing its thing in the late 80s and 90s was about $250,000. Now that would, from that money, you pay your producer, you pay your studios and everything else. That's the budget, but you owe all that money back to the record label and you won't get a red cent, punt, pound, pence. You won't get any of that money back until they've recouped that money. Anything they lay out, they want back before you get it. And then you generally get about 8 to 10 cents, sometimes 12 cents on the dollar. So if you sell a CD at the time, it was CDs and vinyl, you would sell them for 12 to 16.99. You would get basically, 8 cents on a dollar. So it was horrific. It's a horrific deal. That's why a lot of people have gone to court with a lot of bands, and a lot of bands have taken their labels to court because they want better deals. And the way it is there was a machine. A machine was promoting you. They had a promotion department. They had an art department. They had a booking department. They had all these things, ways to help you get successful. That still exists in a very, very small frame. What kids have now, emerging artists. And when this guy asked me about emerging bands, I said, I don't really know. I guess I'd have to be on TikTok because that's where all the kids are getting famous, right? And then they're getting famous for 5 minutes. You all know the Haktu girl. Like Oshim was like, oh, she's the most famous woman in the world. Well, she's not famous anymore. She was famous for 5 minutes because she doesn't have a product to push. She seems like a silly little country girl, and she doesn't really have much else to say. She hired a manager and whatever, a handler. I don't know what she's going to do with that. I hope she parlays it into something good. She's a cute girl. And maybe sometimes that's all you need in the TikTok universe is to have some kind of something saleable. But when it comes to bands, I have no answer. I don't know who the emerging bands are. There's only a slew of bands that can go out there and play. Metallica just did a giant stadium tour. Def Leppard and who else was a Journey and Steve Miller Band are on a big package tour in stadiums, but they need to put not so big names together in order to make a package interesting for other people. They did it with like Motley Crue last year and Poison and all whatever. And like who's able to play stadiums nowadays? Rammstein, and they don't really sell records. They're this kind of anomaly in the music world where they put on this crazy show and they're popular. People think they're super cool, but they don't really sell records. And those guys don't make a lot of money. I saw a whole breakdown on how Rammstein makes money. And it's like, you wouldn't believe how little money it is. The last people to make money is Taylor Swift. She's the golden goddess. She's one of the exceptions to the rule where she puts out a record, it sells millions and millions and millions of copies instantly. Even if she puts out a new version of an old record, which is something that she did to counteract her old manager who kind of screwed her. Apparently that's a story. And she can fill out any stadium as many nights as she wants. There's not that many of those people, even on a local level. I think of maybe that band Greta Van Fleet that sound exactly like Led Zeppelin, and they're horrible and unlistenable, and I don't like them. And it's stupid, but they got a buzz. But I don't think there's any more rock buzz. I think music is so disposable now that the icons that we have, I used to call Bono the last rock star. because who's the golden god? Who's the Robert Plant? Who's the Paul Rogers? Who's the Freddie Mercury? Who is the next? I don't think there's going to be any of those minted anymore because I just don't think anybody cares to put in the time, the fandom. They're obsessed with social media. Taylor Swift is the biggest star in the world, regardless of whether you like or dislike her music. It's irrelevant. I don't quite get it. I think she's fine, but like that level of superstardom, I don't see what the zeitgeist is. I don't catch it. I don't feel it. I don't know. Billie Eilish, I get. I think she's super talented. I understand why people do dig her. I mean, her voice is impeccable. And another really interesting thing that people asked me about was the Olympics. And I was talking to my sister, I was talking to Sheen, I was talking to everybody. And the first thing, though, I think I mentioned on the thing, my sister was like, "Oh, she was incredible." I was like, "Yeah, she's great. I love Celine Dion. Who doesn't?" Documentary was very hard to watch. It was so personal, and she spilled so much of her business out there. And I just thought, "Oh crap, man, it's rough." She's these are people that they took the ride on the music machine when the money was good. Lady Gaga, who's a recent superstar, right? Recent in the last 20 years. I didn't realize how long ago Poker Face was, or Paparazzi, or all those great songs. She's great. I mean, there's no one says a bad thing about her. She's worth like $400 million. She sold records. People just aren't buying them. They're streaming. The streaming platforms don't sell. They just rent. It's like going to Blockbuster or whatever you used to be able to rent. So the money isn't that good anymore. And it's a struggle. There's a girl named Mary Spender. She's out on YouTube. She's got 3, 4, 500,000 subscribers. She's a journeyman singer, guitar player, piano player. She's a talented girl. And she talks about how she doesn't make any money, but she makes money by taking control of her product and putting it out on YouTube and other various platforms, TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. So it's a business. It's very much a business. And the big thing is, and I have a little clip to show you guys about Celine Dion at the Olympics. And I'm not going to take anything away from her because she's, a golden goddess. Dean says, Ray, tomorrow you hit the number 1 spot. Yeah, man. Well, Ray Ray's number 1 all the time, so he doesn't have to worry about anything, does he? Ken Furby, oh Lord, I'm 5th. I'll keep it short. Hot, steamy, upvote, subscribe. To quote an insurance company and populated by meerkats in the UK, Simples. I wish I got that, but I'm not in the UK. I'll ask my niece about it. Ken Furby, shout out to our many medal winners today. Congratulations to everybody. I will say, can I make a confession? So the Olympics, we're watching gymnastics last night, and whatever country you're in, it's going to be blank centric. Now, when you're in America, it's USA centric. So I want to see all of the people compete. I really do. Because that's the only way you get a real feel for the competition. But when they just milk America and the team, and here's the other thing that I just wanted to vomit. So now they were showing the Olympic team, and they're wonderful. Simone Biles, incredible. The Italian girl was so much better than her last night. They came in second, and I don't know her name off the top of my head. If there's any Italian people out there, please tell me what her name was. The girl that did that floor exercise, that girl was like a ballet dancer. She stuck her landings. Her flips were incredible. She was absolutely, utterly flawless. Now, educate me a little bit. Is there going to be also an individual competition between them, or is it just the team? I remember like Nadia Comaneci and all that stuff. So I'm assuming that she might have to go head to head with that girl. That girl's a better gymnast. She was, and I was so furious that I saw the point systems. And I think voting and those kind of things is often compromised in some way. I think there's political leanings. I think there's some kind of lobbying, because when that girl did her floor exercise, she made no mistakes. She was absolutely flawless, perfection. And also, she looked so passionate. When Simone Biles got up there, they had already pretty much won. They were so far ahead. So she kind of did a laissez-faire floor competition, and she's outside the line. She didn't stick her landing. She made a couple of mistakes, and she just kind of goofed it off like, all right, well, we're gonna win anyway, it doesn't really matter. And I think that's kind of shitty. Anybody else see that? Andrew Wolkowicz, Canadian $10. Everyone enjoy the day and make sure you tell someone that you care about them. Oh, isn't that a nice idea? I'm going to do that immediately. And, I'm going to tell you all I care about you. Thank you all for being at this show every single day. It's great to just meet up and talk about stuff. I know I'm the talking head, but what you say in the chats will definitely steer the conversation in a direction that you want to take it. Upvote and subscribe. Show that you can be an inspiration in others' lives and be a blessing. Thank you, Andrew. And here is the official Super Chat gone. Dave Fahrenheit 451 upvoted magical number 9. And here's Mart. Upvote everybody and support the show. Thank you, Mart. Look at that baby. Raver says, Dean, who cares? Like, what's the point? That's a new one. What's the point? What's the point? I'll have to do one for that. What's the point? What's the point? I'm taking it. Dean says, Ray, I don't care. Do you get the hell out of here? Do you care? Get the hell out of here. I don't care. I don't care. Get the hell out of here. He's got a bunch of dolphins there. Hey, Carolyn Martin, the girl with the wrench, is here in the room tonight. Great to see her. As you all know, she has got the pens on the very final stage of preparation for delivery to you all. Everybody give Carolyn a shout out for her beautiful, beautiful, incredibly expressive and artistic pen making. She's just, everybody's got a special something. And I think about that all the time. I think about, people on the streets, you're walking down the street and you don't know who could be the greatest opera singer, the greatest pianist, greatest harpist, the greatest bricklayer, the greatest at something. And they've never attempted to do so. There's probably a million people. Talent is not as rare as people think it is. Talent is everywhere. And sometimes people, yes, certain people are deemed to be what they are, and they find their passions. Some people never do. Some people grow up like, you could be John Osborne and you grow up in Birmingham and you're a metallurgist or you're a bricklayer and you have this menial job and somebody goes to you, oh, you look good. You want to come sing for me band? And I'm sing. I don't sing. No, I don't know how to sing. That's what happened to him. And he became Ozzy Osbourne. He was not a singer. He was not a musician. He was not nothing. Some guy goes, oi, you look cool. You want to try and front me band? He's like, oh, I don't know, should I? And he did. People will never know. And is he one of the greatest singers in the whole wide world? To some, he is. I mean, I like Ozzy. Is he a great singer? I think he's a very unique singer. I don't think anybody sounds like that. I don't think anybody sounded him like him since. People don't know until they're. That's why we had all these incredible programs for the arts in schools that are sadly, some people want to get rid of most of them. They think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. And maybe it is nowadays with AI. I had a pizza date today with Hardcore Shutterbug, my friend Steve, and he was like showing me all this art he does. And it's like he is a singer in a hardcore band, songwriter. He's a phenomenal photographer, and he's showing me all this AI stuff. And the talent there, as we were talking today, is describing to the machine exactly what you want it to look like. So now the talent is dictating details, and a lot of arts are going to get put out of business. We're going to have a lot of machines that are doing the work for us. It's going to be in the next 100 years. I mean, I hope some of us are still here. Who knows what will happen with eugenics and crazy things like that. Maybe we'll figure out a way to extend life for longer than that. I'm sure that will happen. In 100 years' time, I don't know how many people are going to be using paintbrushes or playing musical instruments. I don't know. Eventually, these archaic arts, like languages and things, they might just be gone forever. I don't know. Kind of scary, right? Dave Fitzsimons, whoop whoop, Wednesdayness and bashness. Hey, Basharisti. Hey, Basharisti. Interesting, Mr. Bond. Evening, Dirk and all. Have a great show. It's great to see you in the room. Look at that. Look at that with your Z blue Millie, baby. I wore my Milgauss to pizza today because it was a sunny day. I love to wear that watch on a sunny day because the green crystal just everything about that watch just comes alive, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Angelo Minichello, Canadian $10. All the best to all. I am stuck on holds. Oh no. Oh no, Angelo. I am stuck on holds. Is there anything worse? Trying to deal with customs regarding the watch. But I sent a teaser promo pic as stuff that was sent several. Do you have that? You sent a promo. Oh, I have it. There it is. Can I take a look at it real quick? Oh shit, you bought one of those. Did you? Did you now? Oh boy. Oh boy, he went and done it. Oh boy, when they all went to Geneva, I was watching Tim and whomever, Asheen, everybody when they went to that. It was in Geneva, right? They all kind of spent a little time over at that booth, and that's not a watch brand I know anything about at all, really. And wow, crazy. Billy G is in the room. Good evening, folks. Well, welcome and good evening, Billy G. It's great to see you. Rufus is here. It's never been an easier time to make great music, but it's the hardest time to get it heard. Yeah, and I kind of dropped the ball on that whole story, but basically, yeah. But it is and it isn't. So it's a double-edged sword. I don't really know. Yes, the power and control is in your hands. I could physically where I am now, I could write a song, produce a song, sing the song, play the song, mix the song, get it done, and upload it tonight. And maybe you'll hear it. I have an audience of some kind now. I mean, I don't pretty much promote my music on this show. I mean, not that I wouldn't or I won't. A bunch of you guys have gotten a bunch of CDs and stuff. And why not? Why shouldn't I share that with you? Because you're the Bashers and you deserve whatever I've. And if I have extra stuff or, like I have just found a box that my old manager sent me, and it had like tons of CDs in it. And I was like, all right, that's why I was like, well, I want to give them out to people that, might give a shit. The worst thing you could do is give away your art to somebody who doesn't give a shit. I sometimes this is very difficult. How do I put this I'm not one of those people that sits around and talks about what I do. Like in a friendship capacity, but I do have a bunch of people in my world that will sit down and talk about all things them. And okay, that's everybody's got different egos and everybody's got different stuff. But like, what did you think of my last record? Or, I'm working on this, when it's all about what they're working on. And that's wonderful. It's a type A personality. Maybe that's what it takes. I'm the world's worst self-promotion machine. I've worked really, really, really super crazy hard on records and been really, really lackadaisical and kind of timid in promoting them. But the worst thing you could do is like kind of remember when U2 put that record out and everybody got it for free on iTunes? It was about 8 years ago. And it's a really good record. U2's never made a shitty record. In my humble opinion, I'm a fan. And I love all their records pretty much. Their worst selling record is my favorite record, Pop. But they gave a record away for free because they realized in the marketplace it doesn't really matter anymore. It's more important that people hear your music and then come see you live, because that's the only way artists really make money now. They make it from live performances and they make it from merchandise. Because people aren't going out and buying your latest CD. They're just not. People are buying box sets. People are buying commemorative things, reissues, specialities. They're buying that, but they're not really like, they'll just listen to it on YouTube or whatever. But you're right, Rufus. It's so easy to make the music now, of course. And this is a whole thing I'm not going to get into. Is a whole different way to make music before. You had producers. I've had the incredible honor of working with some producers that kind of rein you in and say, they direct you. They're directors of movies. Sometimes you'll go off on a tangent and they'll reel you back in, or they'll tell you to open this up. You have you have a third party in the room that's not connected to the creation of the art. Sometimes they are, sometimes they might contribute songwriting details. It's all up to you how you guys evaluate what somebody's contribution is. Some things are arrangement. I'm a big believer in arrangement is not songwriting. Like if you decide to extend a guitar solo by 8 bars and change it to E flat, I don't think that that's songwriting. I think that that's arrangement. And there used to be a lot more arrangers in the world. Songwriting is the guy that came up with the lyrics and the melody, and that's it. And anything that gets moved around after that. That's why in my band, we, you know, like I've always said, like that's your tune, or you know, that's your tune, Dirk. You know, like we understand that, and it's. But in the same capacity, I love what U2 do, and they're like all songs by U2, all songs by Queen. Early on in Queen's career, they had, you know, Freddie Mercury and John Deacon. They all had separate things, and then they realized it's bad for band camaraderie. We're all working on this in a room together, regardless of who comes up with what. We're going to say all music and lyrics by Queen, which is great. I would much prefer to do that. But you know, publishing money, you'd sign a publishing deal once you get that big major label record deal. Sometimes you'd get it before, and then you get that money you get to keep. So anyway, to wrap up that whole Cleveland conversation, you're a band, you're called the Smudges. Yeah, the Smudges get signed to Warner Brothers. They give you because Capitol wanted you, they give you $500,000 to sign with them. You get to keep that money. That's not recoupable money because that's a bonus. It's a signing bonus because you were in a bidding war. But if they just signed you, nobody else wanted you, but they wanted you, they'll give you money, and then you have to pay that back. So you kind of want to have a bidding war. Then you get this publishing deal, and they give you $100,000, and then they want your publishing. Generally, it's a 50-50 publishing, and we could have a whole publishing conversation later on. But so you start off generally, because you're not in a bidding war, and you have a little bit of startup money from your publishing deal, but your record company, you owe them money from this day you get signed to them. And until that third record comes out, if your debut album is a smash, you guys are golden. But if you make 2-3 records for $250,000 back in the day, you're up shit's creek. Nowadays, everything's done here in the box. I can make a whole record here. I don't have to pay anybody anything. I don't owe anybody anything. I put it up on Spotify or whatever your music service is, and then you get the pennies from it later on. If you're out gigging, maybe you'll go viral, but I don't know what goes viral anymore. It doesn't seem like music goes viral, right? Doesn't seem as so. Andrew Wolkwich, artists, it's about art. Record company, don't read contract. Don't react contract. It's look at the money. Oh yeah, oh right. Don't read the contract. Look at the money. Artist, take my soul, please. Seller's remorse inbound. Yeah, but you know the other thing is, what if you want to get out of Cleveland or Birmingham or you know, buttfuck Arizona? You want to get out of there, and the way your way out is to sign that shitty deal. A lot of people just sign those deals so they can get on with their career. You know, we wound up signing with a German record company that we couldn't get out of our contract with them, and we had a huge major label record deal on the table. Huge. It would have changed our lives because we wouldn't have owed them any money because they wanted us really badly and they were offering us cash. But then our old record company wanted all that cash. So we would have wound up owing them a lot of money. It sucked. Pure Palm, the papal picture's back. Great to see you. Good afternoon, Dirk. Good afternoon, you fine folks in chat today. Kind regards to one and only from Calgary, where it's oppressively hot. I think of Calgary and I just think of the Olympics. Isn't that funny? I think of the Winter Olympics. Unbelievable. Ray, you're Dirkus Maximus. If you did an OnlyFans, I would spend at least €2. Oh, nobody wants Dirk's OnlyFans. Nobody in the world. First of all, I am just so amazed that many people are willing to do that online. Like I said, like at the water cooler in the office the next day, it's like, hey, I need the files on the Meacham contract. Hey, did you see Susan on OnlyFans last night? Wow, that was really amazing. I mean, I didn't know she was that limber. Oh yeah. Oh, did you find out that Bill down in accounting, he's got a really? Did you see his leather mask on OnlyFans last night? That stuff gets out. I mean, maybe it's just that the new human society, the new society is like, I'm owning my truth. It's my story. Oh, anyway, and I digress so much, and I apologize for that. The Olympic team, the girls on the Olympic team, they were showing their pity stories, like, Jane, I grew up in a small town and I had no ambition, blah blah blah. Now, instead of us seeing people compete, we have to sit through 15 minutes of somebody's story. I don't want to see. I want to see. I'm watching the Olympics. I want to see competition. I want to see the fight. I want to see the scoring. I want to see all that stuff. I don't want to sit through the American Idol or the X Factor pity party. Like, my grandmother taught me how to play washboard when I was just 5 years old, and look at me now. I'm on American Idol. That's what they were doing with the Olympics last night. They were like, "Oh, I never thought I could be. I had I had eczema when I was 7 years old, and the doctor said to me, 'You'll never be a gymnast.'" It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I digress. V for Victor 7. Hi, Dirk. Have a great day. Chucky Arla Day. What's Chucky Arla Day mean? Can I look that up real fast? I'm going to CHUCKYARL Day. Chucky Arla Day. What does that mean? Some parodies are Chucky Arla. Our day will come. Oh, it's in Irish. Okay. It means our day will come. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. Good to know. My Irish is non-existent. Pure Palm. Oh, that's a sweet and harmony with super chat. Bless up, Andrew. Fantastic. Isn't he wonderful? We have the best people here on the iBashers network. They are the kindest, pay it forward kind of folks in the whole wide world. Ray Ray says, check out Sligo Girl on Jules Holland's Hogmanay. Moirin Bradley, Christ on a Bike, C6 Steve played third with her. Sligo Gal. Oh, she doesn't come up as Sligo. Isn't that crazy? That's my sister's screen name. Because she's a Sligo girl. Isn't that interesting? I didn't know that. Moirin Bradley. I don't know her. Did you watch Catastrophe? They named their daughter Moirin and robbed the Americans like. I love watching people try to say Irish names. It's one of the funniest things ever because they're crazy. Pure Palm, thanks. I'm somewhere between a sinner and a saint, but I want to be better than I am. You're just fine the way you are, Andrew. We love you, man. It makes me sad to think of the potential great art that will never happen because the person is not articulate to express the vision to a soulless computer. I mean, I guess there's just some kind of things we're going to have to eat there, dearest Andrew. I think, when I saw, and he watches the show sometimes. You might even show up here. I don't even know if you're in here, Hardcore Shutterbug. But like he was showing me all this stuff, and this art was great, but it was in the style of Frazetta or all this stuff, and I was secretly shocked by it because I'm thinking about what an incredibly talented guy he is in his own right. And while it's really cool, and I've done some. Remember, I was toying with the AI art for the thumbnails for this show. I gave up on it because it's not what I wanted, and it just doesn't look like me. And I was trying to, I thought it would be cool if it could like capture me. And I could put it in anything. And if it ever gets to do that, maybe I'll do it. But right now it doesn't. But I was thinking about, I love looking at my friend Steve's photography because he's a brilliant photographer. And I love listening to his music. And I'm not even a hardcore punk guy. It's not my thing, not my lane at all. I really enjoy listening to it because he made it and it's really, really good. And I went to see his band live and they were fantastic, and I was like, oh shit, I'm going because he's my friend and I love him, and thinking I'm not going to enjoy the music because I don't enjoy punk music. Dirk's got a level of hard rock where he stops. And that's probably like, Iron Maiden or Judas Priest. Anything heavier than that, I don't like Metallica and all that shit. And I was in Anthrax when I was a kid, but I didn't know. It wasn't that when I was in it. It was more like, once it gets really, really heavy, I kind of like, I love the Carpenters, and I want to get out of there. So I don't know. AI scaring the shit out of everybody right now. A lot of people's jobs. You think the internet took away a lot of jobs? You think being online took away a lot of jobs? Holy shit. AI is going to take all the jobs. Renaissance. Hello, Renaissance. Oh, wait a second. I have an idea. I was like, I didn't even need to, Julian. I didn't even need to know it was you because I knew from the art. Don't fall off your chairs, folks. This is Julian live. Mr. Huxley, who I talk about incessantly on the show. You know, he had his health issues and he's a wonderful bastard. And you've never, ever, ever been in the chats, have you? I don't think so. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian live. And I just knew because he sends me all these emails with that kind of art in it. And talking about great photographers, Julian, I'm sure you have a lot to pitch in on this whole AI shebang-a-rooney. Horrific. Ken Furby says, listen to Michael Stipe. Night Swimming is my favorite REM song. Ken Furby. Singing Night Swimming with just a piano played by Mike Mills. It's an old recording, but beautiful and heartbreaking. Love the Stipe. So do I. I adore Michael Stipe. Adore him. It took me for a long time to catch on to the REM train. I mean, I always thought that they were tuneful and great, but like really digging him as an artist. Talk about singular singers, voices that are so unique. Absolutely love him. Night Swimming, absolutely my absolute favorite, hands down my favorite song by them. And Drive. I love that record. Pure Pop says, I've been listening to A Night at the Opera a bunch over the last few days. I mean, sure. I mean, I haven't listened to that record in a long time, but it's probably one of the records that I've listened to 1,000 times. And my favorite songs on that record tend to be, you know, I don't listen to Bohemian Rhapsody, obviously. But like, you know, You're My Best Friends on that record, and 39 is on that record. There's so many great songs on that album that people don't realize, you know. That's the thing about Queen, you know. They were able to do rock, dance hall, big band, swing, jazz, whatever they wanted. Yeah. Great. I mean, there's only one shitty Queen record. There's one, and it's pretty bad. It was Roger Taylor's birthday the other day, so I'm in love with my car. It's impossible to sing like that guy. Scratchiest voice ever. It was played on the radio, which got me right back into Queen. Oh yeah, I love Roger Taylor. He wrote some of their biggest songs too. He wrote Radio Gaga. He wrote what else did he write? He wrote Radio Gaga. It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. He wrote so many of their songs. Oh, I love I'm in Love with My Car. Alana Miles didn't make any money off Atlantic Records after she was released from her contract. She had to re-release her music in order to make money. Yeah, I don't know how many records she did first. I remember there was an artist named Laura Branigan who was a great singer, and she was signed to Atlantic for years. As a matter of fact, then President Ahmet Ertegun said, as long as there's an Atlantic Records, there's a home for Laura Branigan. And I believe she was signed to Atlantic Records until she died. She had a stroke. She was very young. Dave Fitzsimons, the economics of creativity is fascinating. There's no complete right answer. There is not. You couldn't be more correct. But love hearing people's experiences and insights into it. Listen, you know, like I used to think, oh my God, I can't believe I got so screwed by the music industry. Exactly what happened to me happened to Asheen. Pretty much. The names have changed and certain things have changed. But like the whole time, like I've found this band and I'm loving them and they get a deal and I'm like this, and then some weird stuff started happening, like they wanted them to change their name and like a bunch of things were happening, and I was like, oh no, God, no. The record was done. The record was amazing. You know, they spent $250,000 on it probably, and they did it with the Talking Heads. The what's his name? I can't remember people's names anymore. The guy, not David Byrne, the keyboard player, right? And so it was a massive sounding record. I was like, this is going to be huge. They're going to be huge. I had no doubt in my mind they're going to be huge. But then what happened exactly happened to me? We were getting signed to Polygram Records, who were willing to put up the money, and then the management changed. Everybody got kicked out. The guy that was signing us to Polygram decided to go somewhere else. The new guy who came in didn't like us. The same thing happened to them. Clive Davis came back to their RCA, and he cleaned house. So yeah, it's amazing. I'm one in a million. There's very few people who don't have that story. Oh geez, the BBC are awful. Unless they can get the athletes to cry, you can feel the sense of failure. They're talking about these little pity vignettes. I don't want to see them, and I turn them off. I want to see competition. I want to see the Olympics. I want to see sport. I don't want to see, your backstory about how you had a hangnail when you were 15. The sentimentality needs to stop now, but it won't. It's just and then Simone Biles goes, "We all have our stories." No, fuck off. I don't care how good a gymnast you are. It's boring. Melly C in the house. Good day, Dirk, and all the Bastards. Sorry you're late. Well, I've been representing you since the show started. Fashionably late is better than never arriving at all. Melly C says, "Hey, Julian." Everybody says, "Hey, Julian." He's in the house. I think I'll be losing the will to AI. Yeah, I think you would be too. You know. Rufus says Jerry B. Harrison. Jerry Harrison. Jerry Harrison. Guys, what time is it? I think it's time for this. The Gallery of Bashtards. Send me the shots, the sublime, the absurd. The Gallery of Bashtards. You share them with me, and I share with the world. I share with the world. I love the Gallery of Bastards. Mr. Emmett O'Malley in fine form as always. That guy never ceases to amaze me with his musical prowess and genius. The guy's a genius. And I love him. Okay. Somebody sent me a video. Let me download it. Now I've got a program where I can do that now. Can I open it though? Let's see. I can. Okay. This is from, where is it? From Rob. Let me make sure I get this right. So now you can send me videos and I can play them. Can't keep the Kona out of the water. Okay, let's start with that. Can I get it? Can I get it? There it is. And I can operate this. Look at this. I can do videos now. Oh, look at that. I wish my dog would have. My dog used to, if I brought her near the water, she would run for her life. Dogs are natural swimmers, though, mostly. Oh. Go for a nice cool off and a nice swim. Isn't that amazing? Oh, man. Thanks, Rob. What a wonderful treat that is. I love the fact that I can play video now. Isn't that cool? Carolyn Martin. This watch, sad. This watch has never been worn. That's when you know you have too many watches and you need to cull the herd. Her Diet Pepsi, huh? Let's get a better shot of that. Did I bring this up? Wait a second. This looks very vintage. Am I wrong? It's oh no, you bought it in 2022. Why does this look so vintage, Carolyn? Are you still in the room? I mean, it looks like it's been weathered and it looks kind of rusty. Oh, it looks super rusty. Oh, it is. What happened? No, that's a vintage watch. Date of purchase. I know it's got like a Tudor card, but what the hell's going on there? I need backstory, Carolyn Martin. We need backstory. You only sent me one picture? Oh, brother, bread and butter, as my mother used to say. Most people think it's the same watch. Well, I'll tell you a funny story in a minute. What do you got here? You got a sub and a Batman. Oh no, you don't. Oh god, I thought that was blue. Oh no. Oh shit, look at that. It's a freak out. Okay. Well, I mean, they're not so dissimilar. I mean, you got a sub no date and you got what is that? That's the black GMT Master 2. I mean, they don't look anything alike to us because we're nerds, but people think they are. So my neighbor, friend of mine, we're just talking, and she's like, "Oh, my husband has a Rolex," and I was like, "Oh, really? What does he have?" She goes, "I don't know." I was like, "I didn't know," and she goes, "He never wears it. It's kind of ugly," and I was like, "Oh, she doesn't really like it." I was like, "Oh, some people don't," and I didn't know what it was, and I said, "Well, I know a lot about watches. Why don't you send me a picture? If he doesn't like it, maybe you should unload it. You got a Rolex." I said, "You just missed the big bubble, though. You missed the big Rolex sell off thing." So she sent me some pictures, and I immediately think that it's not real. I can't be sure, but it's a Yachtmaster, And there's a couple of questionable things, like the box looks good and the packaging looks good, and it looks like the original 92 box, first edition of the Yachtmaster. But there's a couple of things about it that just look suspicious. And the first thing is that under the Cyclops, the numerals look a bit dodgy. Now, I looked through a bunch of different versions of it, and I'm no expert, obviously. I mean, I know what the obvious things are, but I'm not quite sure that very first Yachtmaster, it's the silver dial with the red writing on it. I don't know. I told her to take it somewhere. She goes, "Oh, I don't want to. I'm embarrassed." I said, "Well, I would be. I'd feel a little bit weird if I thought that I had a fake Rolex. I'd bring it into Rolex. I would feel very, very weird about that. But I think she could find that out pretty easily. I think anybody. I mean, I don't think it's real. And her husband got it like in card game or something. Look at this from Andrew Wolkovich. Look at the lady just awoke from a nap. That looks like a very, very comfy chair. Very comfy chair. It almost looks like a watercolor, this photograph. Dearest Andrew. Almost looks like it. So, if anybody's a Yachtmaster expert, send me an email, basherdirk@gmail.com, and I'll send you pictures, because she sent me pictures, and I was like, oh boy. I mean, I don't think that she cares. I don't think she's betting the farm on it. Like she wasn't interested in selling it. She just said that she didn't like it. It was her husband's, and she didn't really care about that. Well, you never know. Dean McKenzie from the fair, send the pictures, let them in. Yeah, look at that. That's a Challenger, baby. In the UK, huh? Look at that. A little bit of Dodge action in the UK. That's looking fit. That's an American muscle car. Amazing. Jimmy, my guitar player from Hitman, has one of those. Same color too. And look at this. Look at this. A GMC Denali. What's going on here? The American license plate. Here's another one. Wow, look at this car show. Look at that. Wow, that color is killer, man. Wow. Look at this, selling all these American cars. Isn't that interesting? Cadillac. I've always wanted I like Cadillac. Oh, what's that? Is this an amphibious plane? What is that? What the hell is that? Oh, that's the Volair that you sent yesterday, huh? Look at that. It's amazing. There's more, I think. Thank you, Dean. That's very interesting. What do we got going on there? I think there's a part 2. More photos. Oh, no, that's the same set. Sent twice. I was getting more. Oh, shit. It is. All right. Let us know more about that. Martin Brown. Let's get you on the gallery. Oh, you're a beauty. Look at that. They love the if you're not a cat person, they love the arms of the couch. They absolutely adore them. It's one of their favorite things to do. Oh no. Isn't it amazing how these beasts trust us the way they do? Look at that. They really do. They trust you with everything. You give them food and water. What's going on here? What's going on here? What is this thing? Skywatcher Esprit. What is that? What is this? Oh, is that a telescope? Shut the front door. Oh my. Oh, man. and mind blown. You know, that's what I do all night long. I just watch all the physicist channels and all that stuff. Did you take that? Shut the front door. Holy crap. What? Man, talk about technology. I mean, look at all now. All of a sudden, we know about all these planets. It's only a matter of time before we know whether or not there's life on another planet. Of course, there has to be. There's only X amount of elements in the whole wide universe that we know about. Of course, we're going to discover some other things, but let's face it, it's mostly freaking hydrogen and methane and carbon and oxygen. You know, there's very few things. Somebody's going to have it. We've discovered thousands and thousands and thousands of exoplanets now. And maybe Mart's going to be the one to do it next. Look at that. I want all the information that there is to have on this. Because I watch all those channels. You know, Carl Sagan is my guy. Hey, Dirk, cat pics and testing out astrophotography setting for the coming season in 5 weeks' time. Oh my God, you're my new hero. Holy smokes a Rooney, man. I am so utterly impressed, dude. I just said dude, I'm sorry. I don't usually say dude. I just did, though. It's terrible I said that. Angelo Minichello with his, ready for this, guys. This is the watch that's stuck in customs, because of course it is. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-o. Oh, boy. Now, I've said this before about the man. And I have this out because I was going to wear it this morning, but then it was so hot out. I was like, I have to wear something lighter. His collection is so curated, so unusually. I mean, you know, everybody's got watch collections. We all like what we like. He has so many. It's the most diverse collection. It is. It's one of the most diverse collections I've ever seen. He definitely goes for things that you definitely don't know about, or most people don't know about. Now, I didn't know much about Parmigiani until kind of recently. You know, I know that they're not a storied brand, but they are up there. They're up there with, you know, in the world of high horology. And they're very, very unique and attractive. So I'm excited to see that when you get it. Andrew Olkowicz, the ladies are napping. I love the napping cat photos. Amazing. Amazing. Nothing made me happier than when my cat was sleeping. She'd just be having such a beautiful day. I just love the trust. I love that they trust you. I love it. Jim Lassick. Hey, Dirk, I'm joining the cast late, but I'm in. Hey, let's get some photographs of you and your beautiful lady. You handsome divil, you. Look at that. Look at that, enjoying a nice white wine. Look at that. You guys are superstars. Look like movie stars. Fantastic. Oh, look at this. Aquaterra. Green Aquaterra. Oh, look at that. Now, this is a big meaty man. This is no dandelion. Jim Lassick is a big man. And he's got a big wrist. And that watch, as you know, is a 41 millimeter watch. And it looks great on him because the dial's so open. That's why, because you know, the bezel is very, very small on that. It looks perfect on you. Yeah, it's great dial. Great dial. Look at that. Look at that. Watches on stand, some architecture. Look at that. Amazing. And that bracelet. Oh, that bracelet is great. I love a flat link bracelet. If I've never said it before, I do. And to cap off the Gallery of Bastards, we have Mindy Madness. Oh my God. Stop it, Mindy. Too beautiful for school. Look at that. Can't take it. Oh, Mindy. Mindy. She's a superstar. We have such a pantheon of superstar cats in the Bashers. You beautiful lady. You're beautiful. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Gallery of Bastards. The Gallery of Bastards. Send me the shots, the sublime, the Thank you so much. That's a sea dweller. That's a sea dweller? Oh, wow. Why did it look like a sub to me? Well, there you go. Sea dwellers and subs look the same to me. I know one's bigger, but that they both look great. What's the story with the tutor, Carolyn? Do you have a story for that? Why is that all rusty looking? Why is that all rusty looking? There you go. Everybody's like, it's a sea dweller. Should I pop that back open so I can have a look at that and see how wrong I am? The tutor looks great. Ray Ray wants to know how Rose is. She's doing well. I'm going to see her right after the show. See if she needs any groceries or anything. I saw her this morning. I go in there every day, check on her. She's doing okay. She's going to have like a adult protective services come in about a month to have a sit down and to evaluate her level of memory problems, to combat the ugliness that she's facing with the new landlords. And, they're going to lose because they're evil. Carolyn Martin, I hope she doesn't check her engagement ring, just saying. No, this was, it's never even been taken out of the drawer. I don't even know how they got it and all that stuff, the watch. We're talking about the Rolex, but I'll show it to you. You're going to be like, oh, that's not real. I mean, everything about it looks good. The box is vintage and everything. Except there's a receipt, and the receipt's got funny numbers on it. Carolyn, or wash the dishes wearing it, right? Any house party I've ever to, there's always that one guy or gal that calls everybody dude. That's funny. Mart, thank you. I'm just sad it doesn't get worn. Oh, yeah. Why doesn't it get worn? And is it rusty? Carolyn, I'm going to have to call you and find out because I don't get it. Carolyn, wear it and love it. Yeah. So the one thing I wanted to show you guys, and this is, my sister asked about this, and people ask about the state of things. And I want to just share something with you. And I'm not trying to in any way critique Celine Dion. But this is the state of, this is people who perform at the Olympics. The only person I know who ever performed live at the Olympics in recent times was Katie Lang, because she said, I'm leaving. But this is a channel that I watch a lot. It's called Wings of Pegasus. And this guy's name is Phil, and he's got a great channel. He talks about music. He talks about a lot of fakery in music and a lot of good music, but he also talks about auto-tune, and he puts stuff up online so you could see how it all works. So basically, here, he isolated her vocal. Now that's a graph, so you can see that. See how that squiggle is right on that line? That means it's been tuned. So basically, that's just, I just wanted to show you that basically what that is that song was pre-recorded in the studio, and a producer or engineer fixed all the tuning to make sure it was perfect, because it was the cherry on the top of that performance, so everybody could hear Celine at her absolute best. It was important that she sounded her best, she looked her best, because she's coming through that, and this is no disrespect to her. She's a marvelous, one of the greatest singers of all time. However, when you perform at one of these things, 99.999% of the time, they're going to tell you have to lip sync. And that is because they don't want any variables. What happens when you add variables? Ask Asheen. That's his mantra. Don't add variables. You add variables and things can go wrong. Like, it was pouring rain. That piano was soaked. She's got a wireless microphone, but wireless microphones don't like water either. So while you might not get electrocuted, it could cut out, do things like that, which is crazy. Anyway, so a lot of people have said to me, what do you think of Celine Dion? I think she was marvelous. I applaud her. I applaud her bravery, her ability to come back in this way. I knew it was pre-recorded the second I heard it, and I don't care. For her, I don't care. I care when other people do it, like on TV and performances and Super Bowls and stuff. Get a pair of in-ears and go do your shit live. You know what? Mistakes are okay. Flaws are human. it can be happen. And she has a horrific disease that she's been dealing with for years without us knowing it. She still gave us thousands of concerts and performances. Well, no, she's had this for 15 years. She's been aware of it. I think it was brave and beautiful, and I absolutely love her for doing it. And I just hope people are like, oh, it was amazing, right? That was totally live. It was not live. It was pre-recorded, and she's a master lip syncer. And that's okay. But, Lady Gaga was lip syncing too, and she never lip syncs. She never, ever, ever lip syncs. She hates it. She won't do it. When she did the Super Bowl, she sang. She refused. It was like they had to add another week of rehearsal and technical things because she said, "I'm not going to do it. I'm not going out there and lip syncing. I'm not doing it." But this was a different thing. It's the Olympics. It's frivolous. It's sport with a little bit of music. It's nonsense. Celine, we love you. Andrew says, Dirk, here's an idea. Put a band together, pre-record all the music, and when the band starts playing, have the band put down their instruments, go talk to people that aren't eating pizza and have a drink. Just do it as a joke so people can see when they think it's alive and it's not. Well, people don't know. And that's the thing about I don't know about car manufacturing, or I don't know about X, this, that, or the other. People can tell me what they want, and I'll believe it because I don't know. People don't realize that 90% of the stuff that they're seeing on stuff is not live. When they go to a show now, a lot of it depends on who the artist is, but the big arena shows, like you go to see U2 live, yeah, they've got pre-recorded stuff. Larry's got a click in his ear, and they've got stuff going on in the background, stuff we call it the toaster. And I don't mind if there's samples or background vocals or stuff, orchestra. I don't care. I don't care. Who cares? I mean, who cares? I don't care. Who cares? I don't care. But when like people go out there and do a whole show and it's all pre-recorded, I think that that's really shitty. And that's where we're kind of going with AI. But just remember, send your Gallery of Bastards pictures to basherdirk@gmail.com for tomorrow's weekly wrap-up show. And then we'll be back on Friday with the big guy to talk about all fun things. I won't be doing a walkabout for another week. I ordered a new, thank you to Eazy-E, sent me a link to a 40,000 milliamp fantastic charger. It should be in my mailbox right now. It should be. I thank you all, and I thank you all. It's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. Nobody can sing that like Mark Martel. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the show. Remember to hold the door open. Remember to say please and thank you. And always remember that when you encounter unkindness, you can't always know what that person is going through. They could be having a bad day. They could have broken a nail. Somebody could have cancer. Something terrible could happen. And you just don't know. You just got to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. It's either that or they're just a